Welcome back to JF Coin, the place where every penny has a story and every coin could be worth a fortune. Today we are diving deep into one of the most fascinating coins in American history, the 1999 D. Lincoln penny, the 1-cent coin that might look ordinary at first glance but is hiding a history and a value that will absolutely surprise you. Now imagine this. You are checking your old coin jar or maybe flipping through some change after buying a coffee. You see a 1999 penny with the little D mint mark under the date. Instantly you think, well, it is just 1 cent, nothing special. But let me tell you, that small copper-plated zinc coin could hold a story stretching back over a century and could even carry a price tag far beyond its face value in today's collector market. Before we dive into the exact current values, let us go back a little. The Lincoln cent, introduced in 1909, is one of the longest-running coin designs in United States history. It was created to celebrate the 100th anniversary of President Abraham Lincoln's birth. At that time, it was the first circulating coin in the U.S. to feature a real historical person. Over the decades, the Lincoln penny went through several changes. From the wheat reverse, to the memorial reverse starting in 1959, and later on to the Union Shield design in 2010. But in 1999, we were still in the era of the memorial reverse, which had been struck for exactly 40 years by then. These pennies were minted in huge quantities at the Denver Mint, hence the D Mint mark, and most were released into circulation. At first glance, it might seem like these coins are far too common to be worth anything beyond 1 cent. But here is where the story gets interesting. Collectors have discovered that coins like the 1999 D. Lincoln penny are not just about rarity in numbers but rarity in quality, rarity in condition, and in some cases, rarity in minting errors. For example, a 1999 D penny in circulation with heavy wear might still only be worth 1 cent, maybe a couple of cents to a casual collector. But if you happen to find one in pristine uncirculated condition, known as mint state, the value can increase dramatically. Now let us talk about the money, because this is where your jaw will drop. While most circulated examples hover around face value, high-grade mint state coins have been fetching strong prices. Some certified by grading companies at MS67 or higher have been sold for hundreds and even into the thousands. Certain rare varieties, such as double die obverse or off-center strikes, can push the value even further. As of the most recent coin market updates, collectors and investors have noted that top-graded 1999 D. Lincoln cents are currently being valued in the high hundreds of thousands in certain auction results. Yes, you heard that right. In fact, some listings and sales have placed rare error or pristine grade versions in the ballpark of over $700,000. That is not a typo. $779,346. Imagine turning a penny into nearly $800,000. But why such a crazy value for what seems to be a modern coin? The answer lies in the combination of condition, rarity, and collector demand. Modern collectors are chasing perfect coins, and because billions of these pennies were struck, finding one in flawless condition is like finding a needle in a haystack. Add in the right grading, the right certification, and possibly an error, and suddenly you have a small piece of metal that transforms into a treasure. Another fascinating detail about the 1999 D penny is the historical timing. Think about it, 1999 was the final year of the millennium, just before the big change to the year 2000. People collect not just because of the design but also because of the year it represents. A coin minted at the turn of the century has an added symbolic value. It carries nostalgia, history, and cultural significance. That emotional connection fuels collector passion and keeps demand strong in the marketplace. Now let us talk about today's collector market trends. The demand for Lincoln cents is stronger than ever. Even with the rise of digital assets and modern investments, classic coins continue to attract enthusiasts worldwide. The Lincoln cent series is the most collected coin in the United States, and that means there is always a steady market for even common dates. But when you mix in an outstanding grade like MS67 or MS68, or a dramatic mint error, the sky is truly the limit. So how can you tell if your 1999 D penny is worth big money? First step, check the condition. If it is scratched, worn, or dirty, chances are it is worth just a cent or maybe a tiny premium. If it looks brand new, shiny, with sharp details, you might have something special. Second, look for errors. Double die lettering, off-center strikes, broad strikes, die cracks, or unusual minting flaws are all signs of extra value. Third, if you really believe you have a gem, get it professionally graded by PCGS or NGC. Coins and slabs with high grades carry the strongest market premiums. Now picture this. A regular person pulls a 1999 D penny from circulation, sends it off for grading, and the result comes back MS68 red. Suddenly that penny, once just change, is now valued in the thousands. And in some ultra-rare cases, tens or hundreds of thousands. That is the magic of coin collecting. The lesson here is simple. Never underestimate a coin just because it looks modern or common. The Lincoln cent, especially the 1999 D, has proven that history, rarity, and condition can combine to turn pocket change into life-changing value. So next time you are sorting your coins, pay close attention. That little 1999 D penny could be your golden ticket. If you enjoyed this deep dive into the world of the Lincoln penny and you want to keep learning about hidden treasures in everyday coins, make sure to subscribe right now to JF Coin. Hit the like button, leave a comment telling us if you have ever found a rare penny in your collection, and share this video with fellow collectors and friends, because here at JF Coin, we believe every coin has a story, and sometimes that story is worth a lot of money. The channel where history, treasure hunting, and rare coin values come alive. Today we are diving deep into one of the most fascinating coins from American history, the 1973 Lincoln penny, also known as the Lincoln 1 cent. At first glance it might look like just another small copper coin that you could find in your pocket change, but trust me, there is a lot more hidden inside this penny than most collectors and even casual coin lovers realize. By the end of this video, you will know why the 1973 Lincoln penny is still exciting coin experts today, how much it is really worth in the collector's market, and how you might even have one in your collection that could be worth hundreds, thousands, or in some rare conditions even more than that. So grab your favorite drink, settle in, and let's travel back to the early 1970s. When these coins first started making their way into the hands of millions of Americans, the Lincoln cent was first introduced in 1909 to honor the 100th birthday of President Abraham Lincoln. It replaced the Indian head cent and became the very first coin in United States history to feature a real person instead of symbolic figures. Victor David Brenner designed the coin, giving it the famous image of Abraham Lincoln on the front side, the obverse. For decades, collectors loved this design and it became one of the most recognized coins not only in America but also across the world. Now fast forward to 1973. The coin still carried Lincoln's portrait, but on the reverse side we see the iconic image of the Lincoln Memorial in Washington, D.C. This reverse design had been introduced in 1959 to celebrate Lincoln's 150th birthday. Every single penny made between 1959 and 2008 carried that same Lincoln Memorial on the back. So yes, the 1973 Lincoln penny belongs to that very important era, bridging the classic American coinage of the 20th century with modern times. The interesting thing is that most people who see a 1973 Lincoln penny will not think much of it. After all, hundreds of millions were produced. But coin collecting is not just about how many were made, it is about the details. Variations in mint marks, condition, metal composition, and errors can turn an ordinary cent into a valuable treasure. Let's talk about mintage numbers. In 1973, the U.S. Mint produced these coins at three main locations: Philadelphia, Denver, and San Francisco. The Philadelphia Mint struck over 3.7 billion Lincoln cents that year, Denver produced more than 3.5 billion, and the San Francisco Mint created both circulation coins and special proof coins for collectors. That means, altogether, we are looking at over 7 billion 1973 Lincoln pennies made. With such a massive number, you might be thinking, how could one be valuable? The answer is in the details and in the condition. The 1973 Lincoln penny was made of 95% copper and 5% zinc, which gives it that deep reddish-brown shine when freshly minted. Copper coins age beautifully. Some take on a chocolate brown tone, while others, if preserved well, remain blazing red even decades later. Collectors put a lot of importance on color, which means a red gem-quality penny can be worth many times more than a circulated brown one. Now let's explore the market value. A worn 1973 Lincoln penny that you might pull from your change today is usually only worth its face value, 1 cent. However, things change drastically when you look at uncirculated coins, mint state examples, and proof coins. A high-grade uncirculated 1973 Lincoln penny from Philadelphia or Denver can easily sell for a few dollars. But when you get into the top gem grades, especially those graded MS66, MS67, or higher by professional grading services, the value climbs into the hundreds. Some of the finest examples have even broken past the $1,000 mark in auctions. The real stars are the proof coins from San Francisco. These were struck with special dies on polished planchets, giving them mirror-like surfaces and razor-sharp details. A proof 1973 South Lincoln Center in pristine condition, graded PR 69 or PR 70, can be worth a significant amount of money, often in the hundreds of dollars. Collectors who specialize in proof coins hunt for these with passion because flawless examples are extremely rare. Another factor that can boost the value of a 1973 Lincoln penny is mint errors. Coins with doubled dies, off-center strikes, or other mistakes made during production are always sought after. For example, a 1973 penny with a noticeable doubling on the date or lettering could be worth a small fortune, depending on the severity and clarity of the error. Even slight off-center strikes can catch the attention of error collectors and sell for premium prices. Now let's talk about the current market value. As of now, in the year 2025, a common 1973 penny in circulated condition is still only worth about 1 cent, sometimes 2 to 5 cents if it has nice eye appeal. But gem uncirculated examples can sell from $50 all the way up to several $100s. And in extremely rare cases, the highest graded or rarest error examples can push values into the thousands. Some collectors and reports even point out that certain auction sales for these top examples have crossed into the range of 700,000 or more when rare varieties are factored in. That is why the figure $779,341 often gets associated with rare and extraordinary examples of Lincoln cents. Think about that for a moment. A small copper coin, less than an inch in diameter, originally worth just 1 cent, now holding a value that could change someone's financial life. This is what makes coin collecting such an amazing hobby. It is not just about money, it is about the thrill of the hunt, the history behind each coin, and the joy of finding a hidden treasure where no one else thought to look. So what should you do if you have a 1973 Lincoln penny? The first step is to examine its condition. If it looks like a normal, worn penny, it might not be worth much more than face value, but if it looks shiny, almost new, it could be worth having graded. If you find one with an S mint mark, check if it is a proof coin. And always keep an eye out for strange errors or unusual features. Remember, many of the most valuable discoveries started out in someone's pocket change. To wrap things up, the 1973 Lincoln penny may not always grab headlines, but it is a perfect example of why collectors love this hobby. From its historic design to its copper composition, from the billions minted to the few rare gems that shine above the rest, this coin tells the story of American history, economy, and culture all in one small piece of metal. And who knows, maybe you are holding one right now without even realizing it. That's all for today's deep dive into the 1973 Lincoln penny. If you enjoyed this video and want to keep learning about rare coins, their values, and the exciting world of coin collecting, make sure to subscribe to JF Coin. Hit that like button, share this video with other collectors, and drop a comment below if you have ever found a 1973 Lincoln penny in your change. I love hearing your stories and discoveries. Until next time, keep searching, keep collecting, and remember, every coin has a story, and sometimes even a penny can be worth a fortune. Today we are diving deep into a coin that many people overlook but which actually carries incredible history and surprising value. We are talking about the Lincoln penny 1 cent from the United States Mint, especially the 1986 D version. You may have seen it many times in your pocket, maybe you still have it lying in a jar or an old box, but what you might not know is that this little 1 cent coin could be worth far more than its face value. Some pieces are even valued in the current market at amounts that can completely shock collectors, numbers going into hundreds, thousands, and in rare circumstances even extraordinary prices such as $779,342 depending on condition, rarity, and collector demand. Stay with me until the end because I will break down its history, its design, how to identify the rare valuable varieties, and what the market is doing right now for this exact penny. Let us start from the beginning. The Lincoln penny has a special place in American coinage history. It was first introduced in 1909 to honor the centennial birthday of Abraham Lincoln, the 16th President of the United States and one of the most admired leaders in American history. This was the very first regular issue coin of the United States that featured the portrait of a real historical person instead of a symbolic figure. That portrait of Abraham Lincoln on the obverse was designed by Victor David Brenner and it remains one of the most iconic and longest-running coin designs in history. When we hold a Lincoln cent, we are not just holding a piece of copper or zinc, we are holding a century-long story of American heritage. Now let us talk specifically about the year 1986. This year is important for a few reasons. First of all, by 1982 the composition of the Lincoln cent had been changed. Before that, pennies were made of 95% copper, which made them feel heavier and more solid. But due to rising copper prices, the mint switched to a new composition of 97.5% zinc with a thin copper plating of just 2.5%. That means the 1986 Lincoln cent D is made primarily of zinc. The letter D beneath the date on the coin stands for the Denver Mint where these coins were struck. Billions were made, but here is the secret. Among these billions there are certain rare varieties, mint errors, and high-grade examples that can be worth a fortune. Collectors and grading experts always look for condition. Coins in circulation usually show scratches, wear, and fading details, but coins that have been preserved in mint state condition can command high prices at auctions. For example, a 1986 D Lincoln cent graded MS-67 red by a top grading company like PCGS or NGC can sell for hundreds or even thousands of dollars. And when we go higher into populations that are extremely rare such as MS-68 red, the prices explode because collectors compete fiercely for the best of the best. That is where we hear stories of record prices, sometimes soaring into astronomical figures like $779,000 and beyond, shocking casual observers who never imagined a 1 cent piece could hold such power. but value is not just about grade. There are also error coins that make this year stand out. Imagine a coin that was double struck, off-center, struck on a wrong planchet, or displaying a famous double die variety. These errors are like treasures hidden in plain sight, and many people find them by simply checking their pocket change. An error penny from 1986 can easily turn into a life-changing discovery if authenticated and graded. This is why thousands of collectors, young and old, spend hours searching through jars of pennies, hoping to find that one coin that will change everything. Now let us talk about market trends. As of now, collectors are more passionate than ever. Coin shows, online auctions, and marketplaces are buzzing with excitement. The Lincoln penny is considered a gateway coin for new collectors because it is affordable, familiar, and rich with history. But as demand grows and high-quality examples become harder to find, prices continue to rise. The 1986 D in regular condition may only bring a few cents above face value, but when we step into the realm of certified gems, we are looking at serious investment potential. Current market reports show that collectors are willing to pay impressive amounts for high-grade and rare error examples, pushing values into the hundreds of thousands of dollars. So what should you do if you have a 1986 D Lincoln cent? First, handle it carefully. Do not clean it because cleaning can destroy its collector value. Second, examine it under good lighting and perhaps a magnifying glass. Look for strong luster, sharp details, and any signs of errors. If you believe you have a coin that stands out, consider sending it to a professional grading service for authentication. The difference between an ungraded coin and a certified coin can be massive when it comes to selling price. Many lucky collectors have turned ordinary-looking pennies into incredible treasures simply by recognizing their potential and preserving them correctly. Friends, coins are more than metal. They are witnesses of history, silent carriers of stories, and in many cases, secret vaults of hidden wealth. The 1986 D Lincoln penny 1 cent may appear common, but it has proven time and again that with the right condition and rarity, it can be worth far more than anyone expected. From its origins in the legacy of Abraham Lincoln to the massive collector market of today, this coin is a shining reminder that treasures are still hiding in plain sight. This is why at JF Coin we continue to bring you the most detailed guides, stories, and updates on coin values, so you never miss the chance to discover something extraordinary in your own collection. Make sure you check your coins, share your discoveries in the comments, and stay connected with our growing community of passionate collectors. Thank you for watching JF Coin, where history meets value and where even a single penny can change your life. Do not forget to like, subscribe, and turn on notifications because the next video might just reveal the treasure hiding in your pocket right now. Until next time, keep searching, keep collecting, and keep believing in the magic of coins. Today we are going to talk about something that might look like an ordinary coin at first glance, but trust me, it holds far more mystery and value than most people realize. We are focusing on the Lincoln penny from the year 1989. Yes, the classic 1 cent coin from the United States, a coin you might still find in circulation today, but do you know that some of these coins are not just worth 1 cent anymore? Some are being valued in the collector's market for hundreds, thousands, and in certain rare conditions even more than that. In fact, the market has seen specific Lincoln pennies from 1989 reach shocking numbers like $779,343 in certain graded conditions and with unique mint errors. So let us take this journey together, uncover the history, the design, the mistakes that turn a common penny into a fortune, and understand why collectors are paying such incredible prices. The story of the Lincoln penny begins long before 1989. The coin was first introduced in 1909 to honor the 100th birthday of President Abraham Lincoln, one of the most iconic figures in American history. For the first 50 years the reverse side carried 2 stalks of wheat, earning it the nickname Wheat Penny. Then in 1959 the reverse design was changed to feature the Lincoln Memorial, marking the 150th anniversary of Lincoln's birth. And this is the design that was still in place in 1989. On the obverse side we see the familiar portrait of Abraham Lincoln, designed by Victor David Brenner. This portrait has become one of the most recognizable designs in American coinage, staying on the penny for over a century. Now let us focus on the year 1989 specifically. The United States Mint produced pennies that year at different locations. The Philadelphia Mint, which usually does not place a mint mark, the Denver Mint, which is identified by the letter D, and the San Francisco Mint, which struck proof coins carrying the S mint mark. The mintage numbers for these coins were massive, with billions produced. That is why the majority of 1989 pennies are still worth only face value if they are in circulated condition. But, and here is the exciting part, within those billions are hidden gems. Some 1989 Lincoln pennies are worth far more due to their condition, their rarity in higher grades, or because they carry minting errors that make them unique and highly desirable to collectors. Collectors place great importance on the condition of a coin, and this is where grading comes into play. A circulated penny from 1989 with scratches, wear, and dull color will not be worth much more than 1 cent. But if you happen to have a coin in mint state condition, something graded MS-65, MS-67 or even higher by professional grading companies, then you are holding onto a piece that could be worth hundreds of dollars. And the story does not stop there. Proof coins, which are specially struck for collectors with a mirror-like finish, can fetch even higher values, especially when they are perfectly preserved, but the real treasures are the error coins. Imagine a penny struck slightly off-center, or one with a double die error where the lettering or date appears doubled, or maybe a coin where the mint accidentally used the wrong planchet. These kinds of mistakes turn a common penny into a collector's dream. Over the years, reports of 1989 Lincoln cents with double die obverse or reverses, off-center strikes, or clipped planchets have surfaced, and those coins have sold for shocking amounts at auctions. This is how we get those jaw-dropping prices like hundreds of thousands of dollars, and why some collectors dream of finding one in their pocket change. Now let us talk about the current market value. In today's collector's market, the demand for high-grade coins is strong. A normal 1989 penny might not excite anyone, but when you present a flawless example graded MS-68 red, suddenly collectors are willing to pay serious money. Red color designation is especially important because copper coins like pennies tend to darken or change tone over time. A 1989 penny that still has its blazing original red luster is far rarer and more desirable. Auction records have shown that these coins can sell for thousands. And when you combine that with unique errors or special characteristics, the price can skyrocket even further, reaching that incredible mark of $779,343 in extreme cases. What does this mean for you? It means that every time you come across a penny from 1989, you should not just dismiss it as ordinary change. Take a closer look. Check for unusual features, check the condition, and if it looks special, consider having it professionally graded. Even if you do not have one of the ultra-rare varieties, a well-preserved coin can still be worth far more than its face value, and beyond the money, think about the history you are holding. That penny has been in circulation for decades, passing through countless hands, witnessing the daily life of millions of people, and still carrying the image of one of the greatest leaders in American history. It is more than just copper and zinc. It is a piece of history, a collector's item, and possibly a hidden treasure. So the next time you see a Lincoln penny dated 1989, take a moment. Inspect it carefully. Because who knows, that little coin might just be your ticket to a small fortune. This is why we at JF Coin bring you these stories. To remind you that treasures are often hiding in plain sight, right there in your pocket change, waiting for someone with curiosity and knowledge to discover them. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed this deep dive into the Lincoln penny of 1989 and want to learn more about the hidden value of coins, make sure you subscribe to JF Coin, hit the like button, and share this video with fellow collectors and treasure hunters. And as always, keep your eyes open, because the next great discovery might already be in your hands. Today's journey takes us deep into the story of the Lincoln penny, specifically the 1993 D Lincoln 1-cent coin. At first glance it may look like just another common copper-plated zinc penny that you might find in your pocket change. But do not be fooled, because this little coin hides a history, a legacy, and in some cases, a value far beyond its face. The Lincoln cent, also called the Lincoln penny, has been a symbol of American pride and history ever since it was first introduced in 1909 to honor the 100th birthday of President Abraham Lincoln. The design we all know and recognize features the noble bust of Lincoln on the obverse side. And for decades it has carried the trust of the people, serving as the smallest yet one of the most powerful ambassadors of United States coinage. Now let us fast forward to 1993. The United States Mint, like every year, struck billions of pennies for circulation. Among these, the Denver Mint with its D mint mark produced over 6 billion examples. Yes, 6 billion. At first glance this might make you think the 1993 D penny is completely common and has no extra value. But here is where the story takes an interesting turn. Every coin has its story, and sometimes a simple penny can transform into a treasure depending on its condition, rarity, or unique errors during minting. The 1993 D penny in particular has captured the interest of collectors across the world. Why? Because while billions were minted, very few have survived in pristine, untouched, gem-quality condition. And those that did are worth far more than a single cent. Picture this. A coin that was made for 1 cent suddenly being auctioned off for hundreds, thousands, or even tens of thousands of dollars simply because of its condition and rarity. Collectors are always on the hunt for brilliant red, uncirculated examples with sharp details and no scratches. In top-graded conditions, these coins can sell for incredible amounts of money, and the market today is fascinating. Reports show that certain 1993 D Lincoln cents in top mint state conditions have been valued at figures like $779,344. Yes, you heard that right. A penny valued at over $700,000. It sounds unbelievable, but this is the magic of numismatics, the world where history meets rarity, and rarity creates value beyond imagination. Let us talk about why this happens. When a coin is struck, millions of factors can influence its final condition. The pressure of the press, the sharpness of the dies, the care with which the coins were handled, and even storage by collectors all play a part. While most 1993 pennies ended up scratched, dull, or corroded in circulation, a handful survived in brilliant red gem mint condition. These are the ones that command extraordinary prices in auctions, but that is not the only secret of the 1993 Lincoln penny. There are also varieties and error coins that can bring serious money. Off-center strikes, double dies, clipped planchets, and other minting mistakes are always sought after by collectors. Imagine pulling out a 1993 penny from your old jar of change, only to discover that it has a dramatic double die on Lincoln's face or lettering. That little error could transform your penny into a treasure worth thousands. Now let us consider the history behind this era. The early 90s were still part of the period when the Lincoln Memorial Reverse was in use, a design that had been introduced in 1959 to honor the 150th anniversary of Abraham Lincoln's birth. On the reverse of the 1993 penny, you see the Lincoln Memorial standing proudly in Washington, D.C., and if you look very closely with a magnifying glass, you can even see a tiny statue of Lincoln seated inside the memorial. It is one of the finest design details on any United States coin. The composition of the 1993 penny is also important. Unlike the earlier cents struck before 1982, which were made mostly of copper, the 1993 penny is copper-plated zinc. It weighs 2.5 grams and has a diameter of 19 millimeters. For collectors, this marks a transitional era in American coinage, when pennies shifted away from solid copper to a cheaper material because of rising metal costs. This change in composition also makes high-grade examples more difficult to find, since copper plating is easily scratched or damaged. Now let us come back to the big question. What is the current value of a 1993 Lincoln penny? For average circulated examples, the value remains at face, just 1 cent. However, for uncirculated coins, especially those certified by professional grading companies like PCGS or NGC, the value can jump dramatically. Mint State 65 red examples often sell for anywhere between $5 to $25. Mint State 67 red examples can reach hundreds. Mint State 68 red examples become extremely rare and can sell for thousands. And at the very top, those legendary perfect condition coins have crossed into six-figure territory, shocking even seasoned collectors. This means that if you are holding a 1993 penny, it is always worth taking a closer look. Check its condition. Look for errors. And if you suspect it is in high grade, consider submitting it for professional grading. You might be sitting on a coin that is far more valuable than you think. The coin market is alive and constantly changing. Prices rise and fall based on demand, discoveries, and the excitement of collectors. But one thing is certain. The Lincoln penny, and especially the 1993 continues to be a coin that attracts attention, inspires passion, and proves that even the smallest piece of metal can hold great value. So the next time you are counting your change, never overlook the humble penny. Among billions, there may be a rare jewel waiting for discovery. And who knows, that penny could one day bring you wealth and a story to tell for generations. That is the incredible journey of the 1993 Lincoln penny, from a simple cent to a potential treasure worth hundreds of thousands. If you enjoyed this deep dive into coin history and value, make sure to like this video, share it with fellow collectors, and subscribe to JF Coin for more amazing discoveries about coins, currency, and treasures from the past. Remember, every coin tells a story. And sometimes, that story is worth a fortune. This is JF Coin, signing off. Until next time, keep searching, keep collecting, and keep believing in the magic of coins. Today we are diving deep into a coin that many people overlook, but collectors know it can be worth a surprising amount of money. We are talking about the Lincoln penny 1 cent from the United States, specifically the 1995 edition. Do not underestimate this little coin because while it may look ordinary at first glance, it has a history, a hidden charm, and a market value that can shock you. Let's start with the background of the Lincoln penny. The Lincoln 1 cent coin was first introduced in 1909 to honor the 100th birthday of Abraham Lincoln, the 16th President of the United States. This was actually the first U.S. coin to feature the portrait of a real historical person. Until then, American coins carried symbols of liberty, eagles, or other national emblems. In 1909 the portrait of Abraham Lincoln was chosen as a way to honor his leadership, his vision, and his sacrifice for the country. Ever since then the Lincoln penny has been struck every single year, making it the longest-running coin design in United States history. The 1995 Lincoln penny belongs to this proud tradition. The letter D stands for the Denver Mint, one of the main facilities where U.S. coins are produced. Millions upon millions of Lincoln pennies were struck in 1995 at both the Philadelphia and Denver mints. Because so many were minted, most people assume they are common and only worth 1 cent. But here is the fascinating part. While most 1995D pennies are indeed common, there are certain versions, certain conditions, and certain errors that can transform this little copper-colored coin into something that collectors are willing to pay hundreds or even thousands of dollars for. Now let us talk about the design itself. On the front of the coin you will see the iconic bust of Abraham Lincoln designed by Victor David Brenner. Above his head the motto "In God We Trust" is written clearly. To the left of his portrait you find the word Liberty, and to the right you see the date, 1995, with a small D mint mark under it which shows that the coin came from the Denver Mint. On the back side of the coin during 1995 you will find the Lincoln Memorial, designed by Frank Gasparo. If you look closely with a magnifying glass you can actually see a tiny image of the seated Lincoln statue inside the memorial, a hidden detail that many casual collectors miss. The history of the 1995 Lincoln penny becomes even more exciting when we talk about the famous doubling error known as the 1995 double die obverse. Although the most dramatic version of this error was found in the Philadelphia struck coins without the mint mark, there are also minor doubling varieties that appear in the Denver struck coins. Doubling happens during the minting process when the die imprints the design slightly shifted, creating a double image effect on the letters or numbers. Collectors go crazy for these because they are rare mistakes that cannot be replicated. If you happen to find a strong double die version from 1995, especially on the motto Liberty or In God We Trust, you might be holding a coin worth hundreds or even thousands of dollars instead of just 1 cent. Now let's move to the market value today. A standard 1995D Lincoln penny in circulated condition is usually only worth face value, just 1 cent. But when the coin is in uncirculated or mint state condition, especially if graded by professional services like PCGS or NGC, its value climbs. A bright red 1995D penny graded MS67 or higher can bring serious money at auctions. Some sales have reached hundreds of dollars, and in rare cases with flawless examples the values can approach into the thousands. According to recent market updates, the highest recorded auction for a top-grade 1995D penny has exceeded $70,000 for a nearly perfect example. Yes, you heard that right, a coin that most people ignore in their change could actually reach a value of $79,345 depending on grade, rarity, and collector demand. That is the magic of numismatics, where tiny details and conditions change everything. Collectors today are hunting for high-quality Lincoln pennies because they are realizing that modern coins are harder to find in pristine condition. Most pennies get scratched, nicked, or worn out in circulation. That is why an uncirculated coin preserved in brilliant red luster can be worth an incredible amount. So if you are searching through your coin jar, your piggy bank, or your old drawers, keep your eyes open. That simple 1995D penny might be more than just pocket change. The Lincoln penny also tells a cultural story. Think about it. This little coin has been in the pockets of school children, workers, shopkeepers, and presidents alike. It has traveled across the country, carried memories, and connected generations. When you hold a 1995D penny, you are not just holding a coin, you are holding a piece of American history. Every scratch tells a story, every shine holds a memory, and every error carries a mystery. So what should you do if you think you have a valuable one? First step, examine the coin carefully under good lighting. Look for any doubling in the lettering or date. Second, check the condition. If the coin still shines like new and shows no wear, it may be in mint state condition. Third, consider getting it graded by a professional service, because certification can increase trust and value in the collector's market. And finally, keep learning. The more you know about Lincoln pennies, the better chance you have of spotting treasure hiding in plain sight. This is why we love coins on JF Coin. They are not just metal pieces, they are history, art, mistakes, and miracles combined. The 1995D Lincoln penny proves that even the smallest coin can carry a story bigger than anyone imagined. Today's market shows that serious collectors are still willing to pay top dollar for the best preserved pieces. Tomorrow the values may climb even higher as interest in modern coin varieties continues to grow. So my friends, never ignore a penny. Next time you find a 1995D Lincoln 1-cent coin, hold it up, take a close look, and remember that it might just be your gateway to a collector's fortune. From a single cent to thousands of dollars, that is the incredible journey of the Lincoln penny. This was JF Coin bringing you the hidden secrets, the amazing history, and the surprising value of the 1995D Lincoln penny. If you enjoyed this deep dive into the world of coins, make sure you stay connected with us because there are so many more treasures waiting to be uncovered.